All right. Now that we're starting on a fun note, let's go in three,
I've got
two.
I've got some people mentions too.
Okay. Well, three. Oh, you're smoking. Finish your cigarette.
Why? We're not on TGN anymore. Fuck them.
The one thing that's not child appropriate, you're fucking cock. Oh, dude, that shit burns so bad. In three, two, one. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Sith Talk. That's episode 25. I
25.
shaved a Wookie and found his FTP.
Eh.
We of course had some really exciting and in some cases possibly disheartening news this week. Definitely a blow to the ego with the announcement of the FTP. I was hoping at least a year off would have been our target goal, but unfortunately, the folks at EA and possibly BioWare have decided otherwise.
That's what.
Leonard and I have some real strong opinions in most cases, and some of our opinions have went up, and of course some went down as far as overall aggravation level. But we're going to cover some of the basic information from the quick click site that they had up, as well as the listings we had under the rewards and, of course, features of subscription versus free to play. Had some emails and some responses on YouTube, as well as other places for some of our readers or listeners, whatever, watchers, fuck it, whatever. So we're going to cover those here in maintenance in a little bit, but we want to make sure we start the show off as we try to every week with a shout out to audible.com using the URL audibletrial.com/Sith Talk. We'll get you a free 30 days of your Audible program, and of course you'll be able to get one free book off of that. And if you decide to sign up for the $15 a month, then they drop a little change into our person. I'll be honest, I do actually use the site quite a bit. Beyond giving away books occasionally, I also have downloaded 2 new books this last week.
It's another new month. It's another new month.
Yes, it is. And with my new month, I actually bought a book that I rave about to anyone who likes listening to books but doesn't want to have to pay for them. The Godfather of pod books, Scott Sigler's fantastic book, The Infected. If you're into horror movies or sci-fi in general, Scott not only provides a fantastic reading voice, but he's also put a lot of time and effort into it. He does research so that the things that he says in his book are not only viable as far as what enjoyable to listen to, but in some cases the items or terms used in it are actually fact.
So, is this a zombie book?
No, Scott Sigler, the Infected book. I don't want to give too much away about it because I want our listeners to take a look at it. But if you don't want to buy the book outright, I did this because I've listened to the Podio book so many fucking times. I feel that I owe the man money. Like, he's inspired the idea of a tattoo that I'd like to get on my arm here. I have to find a way to get the wife to grow accepting to it, but
just do it.
It's basically
it's easier to apologize than to ask permission, man.
Yeah, but it's harder to afford it, which is why we always bring up our sponsors in the show. But I got that book, and it's a fantastic book. You can get it from podiobooks.com if you want to get the free version with the advertisements in it. But if you'd like to get the completely unabridged book, I definitely suggest you go ahead and pick it up on audible.com. It's a fantastic book, and of course their service is fantastic. I've gotten the book transferred into my iTunes account. It's on my iPhone. It's just a fantastic book. I cannot rave enough about Scott Sigler. Infected, It's Infected,
Outbreak?
Contagious,
Outbreak?
and he has there's Ancestor. Just a ton of great books. All of them available on Audible for you. So for your $15 a month, you get that one free book, and you can dive into the sick world of Scott Sigler and just really enjoy his shit. And of course, they do help pay the bills, and we have many, many bills to pay. But I will be happy to move on into a little bit of housekeeping. I'm not going to go over stats this week because stats weren't really where my mind was at this week. It was a lot about checking in with our listeners and trying to find out what everybody was doing. I had a lot of correspondence with Joe Hagan. He wants to be a part of the show, and I explain, I want to let him know through the podcast that I have no problem doing a segment with him. Unfortunately, like we constantly tell you guys, like right now, it's about 2 o'clock a.m. 2 a.m. CST, midnight PST. So unless you're a night bug, I don't see it happening live or directly into the podcast. But I'll be happy to contact you if you want to hit me up on Skype or send me a message on Facebook with your Skype name. And Datacar is my name. Obviously, it's everywhere I go. But you can hit me up on on Skype through there, and we can do a 10-15 minute interview or whatever about your feelings on FTP, see how you're responding to it. Now, we did have oddly enough a ubiquitous name, somebody comment on our last episode. They said, great show, enjoyed this one. The comments about ethics and protocols and FTPs, etc. was great. I play a healer and have in most games played solo. In SWOTOR, I have been using the LFG tool a lot, and the hints and tips are invaluable. So we want to thank somebody for that comment.
Well,
we did get an email.
It's Ryan from Australia.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, look to the end of the comments there.
Oh, I didn't. I just copy and pasted.
Oh, yeah. Ryan from Australia.
Oh, fantastic and Aussie.
Yeah.
Now we did well, and I want to thank Ryan for his comment. It's just really weird because it literally highlights somebody as that being the user's name.
Well, maybe it is the user's name.
Email that I received. But then we had an email from Joe Hagan. He says, "Hey guys, another great episode. I remember a few casts ago you guys were looking to involve the community a lot more. I believe. I wanted to know if you were going to have a cast with a bunch of listeners as guests or something like that." That with the announcement of FTP, if you are going to have listeners of the show come on the show at some point as guests, I would like to be part of that. I have a good headset and Skype on my laptop, so I could do it on there. I think the community talk episode would be cool, and it would give us a change and a change to do more in depth with our thoughts rather than a simple message. Thanks for doing what you do. And Joe, I have no problem, like I say, bringing you into it. If any other listeners are interested, that's why we have the Sith Talk at Gmail account. If you guys want to send me a message or send us a message on Skype. We'll be happy to look into being able to get people in. It just depends on how many people are actually interested as to whether or not it becomes as a idea for a complete episode. I wouldn't mind having that, to be perfectly honest. It would be interesting to see what the fans say live. As long as no one pulls a Howard Stern and gives me a Baba Booey bullshit, I wouldn't be offended by that idea. We did have a couple of notes on our YouTube account. Joe again wants to know what we use to record. As we say, we use Skype. I use a program called Pamela to record my end of the audio. We use Uvu for the video, which captures our faces because we actually like the way it works with the different I guess screen modeling, I guess you would say, because it has the availability for 3D or 2D and side shots, shit like that, and it makes it easier to screen cap on Lanyard's behalf. Mm-hmm. Lanyard uses XSplit to tie everything together, and when we're just recording in-game, we're either using Overwolf when it works. In Lanyard's case, it worked for me. It just doesn't
it's working.
capture all the audio.
Yeah, it's working. It's working again now that I got the update, and it's still having a little choppy issues, but other than that, it's doing really good. Overwolf is great. If you guys are gamers and social people, you should really look into Overwolf. I'll just say that. Just go look at Overwolf.
And then, of course, the legendary Fraps is what we normally use, or at least I normally use to do my game caps. The file size is fucking ridiculous, but once I dumb it down with my Sony Studios, it works out just fine.
Yeah, and I use, like you said, I use the XSplit to cap our picture here, what you see. I use a video pad editor to do a little splicing and dicing, and then just use a standard Windows Movie Maker to put it all together. So.
And then let's see, we got the con artist. He said last episode. He said good stuff. I personally am going to resub to SWOTOR. This podcast really made me want to play again. So I'm glad we got you wanting to play again.
But guess what?
I don't feel obligated to pay for the game just because we're doing it. But I mean, it just depends on what you want to do in the game as to whether or not that happens. But we'll cover that when we get to the news. Yeah. The real Christoph 15, which I think is funny because if you're the real one, why are there 15? He had a question. In one of the videos, one of the PvP videos I did, we were talking about we haven't found a replacement for you yet.
Oh yeah.
And because the other half of the audio wasn't really there, I think that was the one that. I think that was the one that the other half of the audio wasn't there. We're not replacing anybody in the show. It was actually a reference to our buddy Kiwi, who is in our guild and is a fan of the show as well. His game crashed right when we started the PvP match, and unfortunately, he didn't get back into that match.
And that was the replacement,
which was unfortunate. Yeah, that was the replacement we were talking about.
By the way, I just uploaded my end of that same match on my Lanyard Night Cutter YouTube channel. So.
Okay. And you guys can check out Lanyard's page through our YouTube page where it's linked, along with my personal page and White Swords, in the event that you want to see what White Sword's up to. Magic the Gathering, last I checked. Mm-hmm. And Star Wars Freak 130 said said that he wants to play with us, or she wants to play with us. If you're on the Prophecy of the Five server at any point, you said you had a Juggernaut on the. You said you had a Sentinel on our server. Just look up Nolani, Noelina, I believe is how I spelled it. No, it's Neolina, or Sweeza. Much easier to spell. Go ahead, Lanyard.
Always easier to spell. Sweeza.
Yeah. But if you see us online, add us to friends if you're online. That way, when we pop in from time to time, you'll be good to go to play with us. And that is it for the maintenance. What did you do this week there, Mr. Lanyard?
I didn't do jack. No, what did I do? Let's see. I've got Sweeza leveled up to 42 now.
Jesus, you're kicking my ass.
I should have been at 50 already, or at least 48 this week.
Yeah.
Because I was doing 10 a week. But I had some other things to do. Me and Kiwi went and did KP hard mode. Some of you guys might have seen the video that I linked through our Facebook site. I did KP hard mode with Kiwi and an amazing group of pugs. It's my turn to give us some shout outs.
Do you have shout outs?
I have some shout outs. In fact, for the YouTube watchers, you're watching the video now in real time rather than the ish. I mean, it's speed. It's at speed rather than the video I put up there, which was the entire hour and a half in 5 minutes.
Holy shit,
dude! You haven't seen it?
No.
You've got to check it out. I found some amazing music from our wonderful free play, and it's really some really good music. And I did the whole KP in 5 minutes. Except for a couple of edits where we got rid of some stupid wipes that we did. But well, anyway, so we go into KP, and I haven't done KP in forever. And I've never, as viewers know, listeners know, I have never been able to finish it. We've got to KP, and then we didn't finish it. We get to KP, and we don't finish it. So I was, going in as off tank, and Kiwi was doing main tank. Mm-hmm. And then we had, like I said, I told the guys I'd give them a shout out. We had Dextros, Omni Fet, Arkilleth, Malevolent.
Malevolent?
No, it's not malevolent. It's malevolent. Yeah, malevolent. I'm just saying it wrong. God. Hey.
I pronounced one right. Yay!
And then here's one for you. How about this one? Because I have no idea. I'm going to say it wrong, but it looks like Tudahato.
How the hell do you spell that?
Tudahto. Tudato. Tudato. I don't know. And our and one of those two, I think it was Malevolent, was our other. No, it was Tuda. Tuda. I'm looking at the screen now. I'm looking at the screen now as green's going above my head. Ah, yes, it was Tudahato and Linzu. Linzu and Tudahato were our amazing healers, and we did a great job. We wiped twice on trash, once because of my ass. I'm like, okay, cool, we're done with that boss. Run into the next room. Ah! Just as everybody goes, don't go in there. And then we wiped on another set of trash because another person had ran in and got something that around the corner. And then we wiped on KP, but only because one of our healers DC'd right as we got to 6%.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so the funny thing is every boss we owned them. Trash was kicking our ass because of stupid moves. We'd run in and pull trash, and now everybody's ready. But so finally got KP down, and Kiwi will be happy for me to mention this. So great loot drops, right? Great loot drops. They had offhand Ricotta. An offhand and a main hand Ricotta pistol. I rolled on the main hand pistol, Ricotta pistol, rolled 100. Right after somebody rolled a 98 and went, woohoo! And I went, roll 100, woohoo! so I got the pistol, and then there was a schematic for armor mech that I didn't have. Rolled a 98, yoo-hoo! Got that.
So wait, hold on. You went in on your tank as DPS?
No, I went on my tank as off tank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you need 2 tanks for KP.
Well, no, I'm just checking. I thought you were like listening to it. I'm going, wait, but you didn't say you were tank.
I got the Ricotta piece and the and the armor mech schematic. So I got a rolled 98 on the schematic, and then the next thing I rolled on was the Karaga's hat.
Yeah, the dumbbell.
Got it. 97. And then I roll an 84 on the car. Ah, I lost the car. And Key's like, you freaking loot hog. And then one of the guys' ass, because I got like half the shit. It's like, hey, that's just the luck of the roll, I guess.
Lame RNG.
Yeah. So anyway, so that, then, like I said, I got Suiza off a Hoth. She's done with chapter 1. She's done with chapter 2. So she's going on to chapter 3. We've got the full party, the full Havoc squad now, and she's got all level 40 PvP gear, and I'm already starting to put new stuff in those.
Hey, you're only 6 levels off of using that gun I sent you.
Yeah. I can't wait. I keep getting better stuff, and I'm just hoping that I don't get something to go, oh fuck, But I've augmented all her shit to the Mark V. So she's all augmented out. She's just rocking and rolling. Did a bunch of PvP. I'm already back up to another 1,000 PvP comms. And got off that god-awful Hoth. So, I did, me and you and Kiwi did some PvP. And so I've got all 3 of those that we did. Or all 4 of those. I uploaded all those to my site. And then I think that's it. I tried to do a couple of flashpoints. Those are still taking forever to get into, but that's just because of the level and what I am.
Right.
And in fact, we got into one, and I was like, 2 hours later, I finally get into one that I wanted to do, which was Colloid Wars.
Colloid Wars.
Yeah, Colloid Wars. And I was like, cool, I haven't done this one yet. I want to do this one. I want to get some new stuff. And as soon as we get in there, the tank bails. And of course, nobody wanted to try doing it with a companion tank, even though I think we probably could have. Actually, it wasn't. Oh, wait a minute. No, we did do a little bit of Colloid Wars. We went in, and because we did the guns,
Right.
We did both sets
Which is the hardest part.
Right, we did both sets of the guns, and then got further on. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. We got in there, and for whatever reason, it remarked us as both options. So when everybody went in, they didn't go in as what they wanted. We ended up with 4 DPS. So everybody's like, wait, who's tanking? Well, you're the tank. You got the tank shield. I didn't mark tank. I'm the healer. And, of course, I'm not a fucking healer. Now, why am I in here as a healer? So we were able to do that, but the tank, because he wasn't spec'd as tank, and it's not his fault. I mean, we could have probably went through if we would have stopped breaking CCs and stuff. But, well, because we'd CC 2 items, or two mobs, and then we could get it down easy, you know, no problem. We got 2 healers and two tanks, or 2 healers and 4 DPS, however you want to look at it. Yeah. But the fucker that was running as a tank kept going in there and doing a AOE and breaking all.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
So that's it. That's all I did. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get back to doing it again too, because I'm almost done, and then I can work on Zuzu.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Well, I guess I'll move into mine. Well,
besides your birthday,
some folks might remember a little discussion you and I had about a young Skywalker I ran into last week.
Leukemia. Yes.
And you know, you gave me a lot of shit on it, and then I started feeling kind of bad, and then, you know, I didn't get any emails about it, which, you know, you were professing I was going to get a bunch of hate mail. Surprisingly, I didn't, and I want to thank those of you who have a fucking sense of humor. But I did run into him again, or rather, nice. I saw him log in again, and I sent him a simple tell, that tell being, so how did the doctor's visit go?
Right.
And, well, he says, oh, it went well. You know, I said, okay, well, I kind of feel like an ass. And he says, well, why? I said, because I had talked to my buddy about your story on my podcast. And he goes, okay, you know, what did you say? And, you know, I told him the basery of the story. And I said, well, you know, you can listen to it if you want. And I gave him our URL. So, of course, he goes and pulls it up. And it's complete silence. I don't even remember how long I talked about it, but there's no text coming through. Like, he's not messaging me. I'm going, fuck. 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 And finally, he goes, okay, well, at what point is it? Because your podcast is really fucking long. So I jumped on iTunes and I ran it up the timer, and I told him the time, and he listened to the section, and he goes, no problems, man. Yeah,
cool.
It's fucking funny. And I was like, oh, thank God. You know, because I caught so much shit from you last week, and I'm going,
it wasn't really just shit. It wasn't really so much shit. It was just like, man, it's just.
But you know, I talked to him for a little bit. You know, he said that while he's not offended by it, you know, I told him if you really wanted to, you know, he could send me an email at the Gmail site, and that I would be happy to, you know, let his story be told. And he said, to be perfectly honest, though he's not offended by it, he doesn't want to shit out all over the airwaves. That's why I refer to him as the young Skywalker. Because, you know, it's a sensitive situation for his family. But I thought it was cool that he was able to go and listen to it and add it to my plays for the week. And he wasn't upset. He said it was really actually pretty funny. So just want to let everybody know about that. Now, as far as what else I did, I'm trying to get both my tanks to about the same level. So I got my Juggernaut to 24. That being Gazini, and then I got Nolani up to 30 before I stopped her in her tracks. So she's actually had a lot of fun tanking. You look embarrassed. What did you do? What did you do? Why do you look embarrassed?
Keep going. Just pretend we started right here.
Oh, Jesus. Someone forgot record again. Didn't we?
I hit record on the audio this time, but not on the...
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well,
that's
anyway,
that's okay.
You know, I worked on Nolani for a little bit. I worked on Gazini. I went and did some dailies on Nagajalokia, and I did a few on Rakata. I've actually spent a lot of time grinding my profs and doing PvP.
Grinding your what?
Grinding my crew skills.
Oh, okay.
Profs.
Profs. Profs. I was like, grinding your crotch. Well, that's great.
No, never mind.
Wrong podcast.
That would be the. But no, I mean, you know, it was a fun week. I mean, it sounds shorter than it was, but I got on quite a bit and I played. It was just I spent a lot of time in PvP, had some decent hutball matches. Um, of course, I was dicking off in PvP, which means I was standing outside the PvP vendor and picked up our guild names of the
Nice.
week.
Nice.
One of them I actually found while in a match. The other one I found while running around. And I can't remember which side it was on. So you know, if you see them on the server, you guys will figure it out. The first group was the Angry Beavers. You know, that was the first guild name I saw, and I was like, oh, well, that one's pretty funny. I like that one. And I was going to leave them alone. I wasn't going to do two. I was just going to do the one and use the next one for
some other time
later in the week. Yeah. But then I found the Grumpy Old Sith.
The Grumpy Old Sith.
The Grumpy Old Sith Guild, you know, I saw them in PvP, and some of them represent their guild's name. They were flipping out in chat most of the time, so I thought that was like terribly ironic. Definitely enjoyed that. But, you know, I mean, a lot of what I've been doing lately is very much, I remember Kevin calling it AFK farming. I just rolled my profs or my crew skills and waited for my PvP to pop.
Right.
I mean, I did get to do a couple of good runs on, what was it? Shit. I cannot remember that fucking level 20, 30, 25 to 30 run that I've been doing like nonstop. The one where you get the little act dog or act hound.
Now you got me thinking what the hell that is. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It's not Hammer Station. It's not Aethys? Is it Aethys?
It might have been Aethys.
I think it's Aethys.
But nonetheless, I went in there, and of course, the guys, one guy was jumping down, and I'd already triggered the elevator at the start of it, and I just kind of laughed at them. And they're all running around. They're trying to take the alternative route that if you don't have an archaeologist, you can go.
Right.
And then they didn't expect me to be a scavenger either. So it's kind of fun that I have 3 gathering skills, considering I just sent my crew out.
Right.
And that was another thing. I had caught up on my class quest because I pretty much had done up to nearly 30 without ever going back to my class quest once I got to level 10. Because I got to level 10, I got to level 10, then I got to 14 or 15, and I was able to get my ship and my ship droid. And then I just basically went back to the Republic fleet, and that was the end of it. You know, I wasn't intending on going anywhere else. Well, then I got pissed off because with as few crew members as I had, setting them up for crew skills was not happening.
No, it's taking too long. Yeah,
and it's pretty much what I need to do on Gazini is go out and get the rest of his cast. But I ended up going and I blew out, what was it? Tatooine, Alderaan, Nar Shaddaa. I went through 3 planets just storyline and wiped them out in a day.
Nice. Yeah.
So
it's nice.
I was able to beast through quite a few companions, which made me really, really happy.
Yeah.
But that's about it for my week. I mean, you know, it was my birthday, so my normal Saturday of nonstop gameplay was not had. Me, the old man, my wife, and the nephew went out to see a movie and have some good Chinese at a buffet in the area. So
nice.
That was enjoyable.
Nice.
And this week, just to let everybody know, Pseudo's Nook was not properly charged. So, of course, she whoops and didn't record for this week. So we'll welcome her back next week when she remembers to charge her fucking Nook.
Ah, yes.
Well, I guess we'll slide on into the news then.
Okay.
Here's your galactic news. Look what
so
you
this
missed
week,
while
obviously,
you were
everybody
sleeping.
heard the news of free-to-play. It was a big deal. Everybody was shitting their pants. God, it's going to be free-to-play. You know, we had numerous comments. One, you know, on our Facebook page, mostly, well, free-to-play is shit. I'm not going to fucking do that. And it was really on the heels of the announcement. And though they did give some answers in the little Q&A tab that we posted on our Facebook site, I still don't think the answers are 100% in there. One thing, and Lanyard, if you can, I don't remember how many character slots they said they were going to give, so that was the one thing I did fuck up.
I don't remember either. I'm trying to. It's in here somewhere.
We'll get to that question here in a minute. What I wanted to do with you guys is just cover some of the Q&A things, and you know, me and Lanyard's opinions about it. And after you guys listen to it, if you want to send me a short audio clip recorded by you to our Gmail site, or hit us up on Facebook, and hell, feel free to throw a shareable link from Dropbox on there, and we'll be happy to let it sit on our main site, or even email the link to us. We'll download it and get it into the next show. It's some of the free to play things, like the first thing they did was they went down rewards. What do you get if you were a current or previous player?
Right.
Now, for previous players, if you had been paying for the month since launch or any period thereafter, up until July 31st of this year, which would be a few days ago, you'll get 150 cartel coins for whatever they end up being spendable on at that point in time. So for each month you paid, you get 150 cartel points. The game's been out for 8-9 months. So that's a significant amount of starter points dependent on what they end up putting on the market.
Right.
Those of you who ponied up the massive dough for the collector's edition, you get an additional 1,000 cartel coins only one time. It's not something you're going to get for each month. And you would have had to gotten the collector's edition, which is the super duper expensive pack. They did throw something in which I thought would be fun just to have in game in general, which is a Heroes banner. But they did add that to those of you who have purchased the collectors. There's a fan's choice in-game item, which, if I remember correctly, that was the one they were voting on, which was the Party Murloc, which I think almost
Party
all
Murloc,
of us...
Party Jawa.
Jawa, there it is. Party Jawa, my bad. See, I told you, man. WoW, as much as I will not go back to play, will never leave my mind.
It's slowly getting replaced, though.
It's like the Contra code, and it'll never
up,
go
down,
away.
up, down, right. Yeah, that thing.
Up, down, left, right, BA, select start.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of hours played that. And then, of course, it says 200 cartel coins each month from August 1st to the 12th to basically from now until the free-to-play launches for those of us who subscribe or new players. So if you buy the game in the stores before they launch free-to-play, you will be entitled to those 200 coins, as will those of us who have been loyal since beta or slightly thereafter. Yeah. And then, of course, 250 cartel points, all active players at the launch of free-to-play. So, quite a few cartel coins going out. And, of course, they had their little thing with, what do you want as a fan favorite reward?
Do you think these coins are going to stack?
Yeah.
So, like it says, 150 cartel coins each paid month prior to July 31st. Mm-hmm. Then after July 31st, you get 200, and then, of course, you get 250 at launch. So it's going to be 250, 200, and then 150 for each month.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, depending on the pricing
plus
of what
1,000.
they have.
What is that? Plus 1,000?
Plus 1,000 if you had a collector's edition, 200 if you're there from August after, and then 250 is if you're already on this, you're already on the program before free to play.
Nothing for you pre-order people, though. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Well, not all of us had the money to pre-order. Oh wait, I did. Three copies.
at the time.
3 copies. Yeah. And one of them got upgraded to the deluxe edition.
Woohoo!
Yeah. But the initial fan favorite rewards, which was something that they were voting on, which is the fan choice in-game item. The items were a Rancor hollow replica, which I didn't think I'd give a shit about, and I still
unless
think
it's like the size of a Rancor.
Yeah,
that would be cool because everybody would be dropping that on Fleet.
Well, if it was animated, I probably would have been more interested in it. But since it's probably just going to be a basic holo recording. But one of the things that was interesting was the Carbonite hibernation capsule. It just says take a quick breather by launching a new Carbonite freeze animation. And I didn't know if that was like you hit a button and your character does the Carbonite freeze.
That's exactly what it is. You don't get to freeze anybody, man.
See, I thought it would be really cool if you know how you got how troopers and I think bounty hunters get that carbonite freeze bomb.
Yep.
Right. I thought it would be epic if you threw the bomb and it
put them into a wall.
That was the carbonite freeze.
That'd be awesome in PvP.
Yeah. It'd be fucking shit because the people would
be pissed off.
And then of course the party Jawa,
which apparently, according to Kevin, is winning.
It is winning by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And there's actually a thing you should probably.
That probably should check.
Like the 1 year. Oh, it says 1 year anniversary.
What? Where?
That's what it looks like. Well, on the page, the swotor.com/free, you can translate that for me, but it looks like 1 year anniversary to me. And then it says here under that the cartel coins can be used to purchase great in-game items throughout the cartel market. Coming soon, loyal subscribers can spend the coins on items including a monkey lizard pet, a Sith throne, and the Darth Nihilus lost helm of Darth Nihilus, and not bad options.
Now it depends. Is this helm going to be a social item, or is it just going to be
social? Everything they're talking about that they're going to be selling,
costume is going to be social.
Yeah, it's all social and cosmetic. So no.
Well, the social stuff's kind of cool. I might look into the store for the social stuff because you know how I like to dress up my dolls. The meditation throne.
If the meditation throne is something I could put in my starship.
Yeah, because believe it or not, that's the one thing I haven't been able to find on either my starship or base is where the meditation thrones are.
Yeah.
That's. I guess you just go in the pool.
Now they did have a quick comparison as far as the subs versus free on the game and what content and how much possibly you'll be into. Now they didn't give exact numbers at any point.
Very limited detail.
So it'll be interesting to see how they break it down precisely. Now, as far as story content goes, from 1 to 50, your class story missions, both groups get full access, and I can't argue that would be stupid to cut somebody out on their storyline. That's really the bread and butter of the fucking game. Yeah, look at you. Yeah, fuck you. You know you listen to every storyline. Shut up, dude. I'm listening to the storyline. Yeah. Had to teach you about macroing mute on your fucking vent just so you didn't have to hear us while you were trying to go through a cutscene.
Just turn it off.
Yeah. Character creation choices. Some character creation options, such as species, are limited to subscribers. So those of us who are still paying for it will get full access to every class, every race. Or every race, species, I should say.
Yep, all you food stamps are going to be limited to humans.
Well, we don't know exactly, but presumably, like most games, they'll take it down from the 4 or 5, or because there was one of the things that was in the question and answer section that is kind of questionable. It sounds like certain things that would have only been available through Legacy will be purchased on the cartel market now. So your microtransaction becomes macroed into real cash. But yeah, limited for the free-to-players. Warzone's free-to-play members will have a limited weekly access, whereas those of us, once again, who pay will get full access. Right now, what we're guessing is that there's going to be a maximum you can play per day, which if... It's plus minus. If you're a person who's into the game for PvP, you might as well just pay the $15 because you're not going to get what you want out of PvP otherwise. If you're a person who's like, I'm on a limited time scale, I can only play a couple times a day anyway or a couple times a week anyway, then it may not affect you as much. Flashpoint, same deal, limited access. We are still arguing that that's probably based on how many times you get to do a flashpoint. Space missions, there's a weekly cap for those who don't subscribe. Now, as far as ops go, if you were hoping to get into this game and check out the raid content, you are shit out of luck if you're not going to pay for the game.
That's right.
I don't argue this. I think this is something that's a good idea because some people who play MMOs get into them specifically for raiding, and it should behoove you. This is a level of content and gear that you are otherwise not going to be able to get your hands on. And it does actually require a fair amount of time invested.
Unless, of course, somebody crafts it for them.
Yes, but the look of the gear versus the actual gear is totally different.
They'll probably have everything in the
that's
store
just
anyway.
That's just like Warzone gear. you can wear war hero gear if you don't want to buy it, but you can throw mods in your gear, but you still have to have a valor rank of 70. So you're pretty much shit on luck, and by 70 you can damn near afford every piece on the market through the game anyway. Travel features: subscription members have access to all travel functionality, making getting around the world easier. Which means those of you who do not pay for the game will
be walking,
stuck on a taxi.
You're gonna be walking everywhere.
Yeah. The other thing, of course, that people worry about is the amount of players once the game goes free to play becoming.
Because it's just going to be massive loads of people.
You'd be surprised. But it says here that server queue priority will be given to those of us who pay. Which means those of you who don't, you'll get in whenever we're done playing. GTN, subscription members can post up to 50 items on the auction, which I believe was the maximum anyway.
Yeah.
And then it says limited access. Now, when they did address the limited access for non-paying players, they said it would be drastically different than those of than the 50 or so that we could post. This is definitely another plus because
one is drastically different.
Well, not really. One item.
They should be one item. That's it.
But
not even a stack.
It's a good idea to have a limit on that because what it does is it reduces the likelihood of credit farmers. Which reeks of what happened in WoW. Lots of free accounts getting in and doing the trading of cash, or getting in and farming the items and then sending them to another character who can list them, but I don't need to teach you assholes how to do that.
Right.
So now that we're done with the basics, there was a few questions on the listings that I thought were important or interesting at the very least. Things like, what is free to play? In terms of what BioWare and EA are wanting to determine. And it says, with free to play option, no subscriptions will be required. You will be able to download and play Star Wars, The Old Republic, all the way up to level 50 for free. Gameplay restrictions that limit access to advanced features and group content. However, we will be offering the option to purchase services, items, and content to customize your gameplay experience. These purchases will be made available via the new cartel market and will allow you to choose the way that you want to play. Which means if you want more access, you're going to be doling it out. You're going to be paying for it. Like I said, they haven't released exact dollar translations for it, but more than likely, you want to be able to play more war zones in a week. Give me $5. You want to be able to, get into this more often. Give me $5. $5 is normally the starter point at every game that I've ever seen pay to play options.
Free to play always ends up costing you more.
Right, and I mean, if it's up to the players. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with the 15 that I struggle to pay every month. It's what I've always paid, so it doesn't bother me.
Yep.
Between the two of us, and in some cases, hopefully soon, I'd like to see some of our sponsors being utilized, and we'll be able to support our Star Wars habit as well as our pod site, and that would be suitable for me. Now they have on here, what is the cartel market? Cartel market is the brand new feature that will be introduced with the free-to-play option. The cartel market will offer valuable in-game items, including customizable gear, convenience features that will enhance your gameplay experience. In other words, the shit we already have. The customizable gear interests me to an extent because if they do things like, there was a joke in chat this week about, full Darth Vader suit, only $25 on the
GTN
or on the cartel market.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of other really goofy bad things that were going through chat. But I mean, once again, these are not winning items. These are items that are what we quality of life.
Yeah.
If you want to be able to travel more often, you want to be able to get different gear, you want to be able to basically do more missions and shit like that, you're going to end up paying long run. And if you do, then thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to see you're paying more than I am for the game that I enjoy for the same for next to nothing.
Somebody's got to pay for a maintenance.
That's right. And then, of course, what are cartel coins? Coins are the new virtual currency used at the cartel market. Cartel coins may be used to purchase specialty items that allow you to customize your character equipment, customize and equip your character cosmetically. So once again, not winning items, just looks. So just as shallow. With cartel coins, you'll be able to, that's it. And it says it'll enhance your gameplay features, and convenience features that'll enhance your gameplay.
Enhance, not improve. Not improve.
Right.
There we go.
Now, those of us who are subscribers are wondering what will happen when the free to play launches, and it says the additional free to play option will not change your current subscription unless you choose to change your account. Subscribers will continue to have unlimited access to the Old Republic, including new and more frequent content updates that free to play
Once a show.
Every time, man. Free to play players will have to buy. So our content that we get every couple of months, that we have unlimited access to. If you play free to play, you'll have to pay for it. So we're talking content patches, more than likely new ops, new war zones, things of that nature. As they come in for us, you will have to buy these map packs, as they are, for first-person shooters. Then, of course, it says subscribers will receive rewards in the form of monthly cartel coin grants, which can be spent at the cartel market for new gear styles, customizable consumables, and specialty items. The free-to-play option is designed with restrictions that will limit content for free players. So, once again, I think it'll be interesting. It gives you guys a good taste if you want to play free. However, it will not give you the full effect. And, of course, they have a link on there as to what your limitations are. What are the restrictions for free-to-play option? The free-to-play option is designed with many restrictions that will limit the content for free players. And honestly, by doing so, I think ensuring the quality of life for those of us who are ponying up the dough. I mean, to be honest, one of the biggest concerns I saw was people who, I was PvPing all week, so of course the biggest concern I heard about was all the scrubs that are going to come in and try to PvP. Well, those scrubs aren't going to be able to be in your PvP match very often. It's just like those of us who do the PvP just
for the dailies.
Yep. We're going to be in there for a match, maybe two, and we're booking it.
Right.
And it's pretty much the same for the FTPers. If they're going to do it that way, then they're not going to have as much access, and they're not going to be able to impede on your gameplay. Assumably, with the launch of the new thing, the newest content, I believe they actually started talking about our idea, which was to launch a new planet specifically for World PvP and PvP Battlegrounds.
Oh, kind of like what Ilum is.
Right, what it was supposed to be. So they did it, and apparently they think they've got it right this time. So we'll see what happens.
So instead of fixing Ilum, they're just going to make a new one.
It works for me. Just means Ilum becomes a tourist trap. Right. Remember the war that was, kids?
Yeah, exactly.
The tiny little ads everywhere.
People used to get right here, and they would get the Republic stuck behind the vent. Yes, I could just see it. Little tour guides, and all the little wampas walking behind. Mommy, look at this.
Can I pet the AT-AT?
Please don't pet the AT-AT's balls.
And of course, the thing that kind of got under my skin was, can I buy the game online? How much will it cost? The game continues to be available via the digital download for $15. You can purchase the standard edition, which includes the game download and 30 days unrestricted gameplay. Purchasing the game now means that you earn monthly rewards from in the form of cartel coins. Cartel coins are virtual currency. Blah 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 blah. Once again, telling you about the cosmetics.
Right.
Now, the thing that doesn't upset me, like I paid $60 or just
80
shy,
bucks.
right around $70. Yeah, right about $80.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was 60, and then I upgraded for 20.
Yep.
I paid for 2 other accounts that were $60 a piece to start off. You did, many other players did. This to me is a massive fucking kick in the balls for some of us who
Wouldn't be so bad if this was like year 2 or 3.
It wouldn't be so
But
bad
this is
if it was
month.
year 1.
This is well, no. What I'm saying is, offering it for $15 or whatever, $19, $15, whatever, at a reduced price, a year after or 2 years after.
Yeah, if this was November 2012, I may not be as upset about it. But literally, the money has still it's still sitting in the back of my head how much I put out for this.
Yep.
We did a show where we were ranting about the options. If I feel kicked in the balls at $80, the guys at $150K
or in Europe,
$150.
Yep, you blokes over there in Europe getting hosed even more.
Yeah. And I mean, well, and the Aussies as well. The Aussies, when that game released, because of the stringent laws over there, that shit was jacked up to no end.
Yep.
Your only hope was to download a game from BioWare, and even at that, I was talking to a few people, and they said their price was drastically higher. They were paying almost $80 for the regular edition because of the compensation laws in Australia. So, I mean, that is a kick in the balls. I mean, that's $15, and that's a time card. A time card. You get a fucking game and a time card for 30 days. That is a real slap in the face. I do not appreciate that. I know we'll get the additional fucking cartel coins at some point, but there was no reason for that.
Well,
It's not like the game didn't offer us enough for the $60. If they'd have dropped it to $50 and said, well, you're getting cartel coins, you're getting a month free. At that point, you're paying $50. You're paying 25 for the actual game, and then $15 as a time card. That would have been acceptable.
$30
for a fucking game is fine.
$30 I would have been fine with.
Half price would have been fine.
Yeah, but $15. It's here they are bitching about,
not enough revenue.
Not enough revenue, and then they turn around and give the goddamn thing away. Well, how the hell do you think you're going to make fucking money if you're giving it away for free? And we'll get people to buy stuff at the store. No, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's,
possibly.
A lot of other people's, the free to play, when they go to free to play, even with the tiered system, it's okay, we give up on this. We're gonna have a skeleton crew to kind of fix little minor things, maybe throw a patch in or update this once in a while, but let's move on to other things. Battlefield 3 was our big thing,
and that's the thing is, we've argued, and I've told other people on our Facebook page, a lot of people want a damn BioWare for it. And
it's EA. It's BioWare selling out to EA.
Well, it's the parent. That's the parent. That's the parent company. The EA runs the show. Yep. If they say do it, BioWare's got no choice but to jump.
Which is why I would never sell out my shit.
Yeah, you got to find a publisher first and like 1,500 programmers to make it.
And a couple $1 million.
Right.
And an artist.
But I mean, the price in and of itself. I mean, I want to be happy about it. I want to be like, oh well, because like I'm totally fine with the free to play. I was fine with some of the options they gave. I'm happy with the restrictions. The free to play doesn't bother me. It means more people who have the potential to subscribe because they're tired of wasting the money on buying individual items and cartel points. That doesn't bother me. I mean, I play a free to play a shooter, and it's supported. You can see it throughout the game where it's supported by people who are buying cartel coins nonstop. And I'm not offended by that. I'm playing the game. I obviously enjoy it, so it's nice for me. And Sony Entertainment's getting their money on that game because people who want more shit, are going ahead and playing. I'm going to cover one more note, and then we're going to get into our actual opinions about this and possibly a little bit more. We'll see what happens. Okay. It says, what happens to my existing characters if I become a free-to-play member, which was something me and Lanyard had talked about.
Kevin.
He says, yeah, Kevin too, because he's locked into that horrific Blizzard Steel scheme where they suck you into buying a year of a game, a year of WoW to support your need for Diablo, and then finding out Diablo was a half-ass game.
Yeah, and he was telling me that he was telling me just today. He's like, oh, one more month.
Yeah, because even Kevin said it. You know, he's on a tight budget. If it wasn't for the fact that he had to pay for WoW, he'd be playing Star Wars.
Right.
So.
Yep. We're all there. You have budgets.
That, kids.
Yep.
Yeah. It says we will not be deleting any characters from player accounts. Any characters already existing on your account at the time of free-to-play launch will still be available to you afterwards. The choice of which characters you activate under the free-to-play system are entirely up to you.
So you can activate one, and then the rest will be locked out. For instance.
Well, because they're limiting the amount of players characters you can make out of a single free-to-play account.
So all you free-to-players, pick your 50s.
Yeah. And it says, and you can choose from any of your existing characters with no restrictions other than the number of active player slots. So if you paid for the additional rewards to be able to have, Marilinians or Marilukas or, those cross-faction characters that you love so much, it's not a big deal. They'll still be able to come with you, but you have to pick and choose. So if you were an alcoholic and you have, half of your characters at 50 and the other half well below, it's time to make up your mind if you're going free to play and decide whether or not, is being an alcoholic worthwhile for $50.
Yep. Or
for the 15.
Yep. You can choose one of your low levels and actually have some gameplay, or you can pick your level 50 and do nothing.
Never run it up.
That's right. I mean, you can't run it up. You can do weekly PvP.
Yeah. And I mean, it does suck.
You just sit around, sell your one item in the auction house. Wait till level 60. So you got a day or two of play.
You can cut the strings on GTN to a free-to-player, but there's nothing. And I think this is where my aggravation is going to come in once free-to-play drops. To be honest, is when you're out in the world or out on Fleet, because that's where everyone hangs out any fucking way. Mm-hmm. My aggravation I see happening when these people who switch their characters from from pay to monthly service to free to play are trying to sell shit. If you can't put as much on the GTN, you know what's going to happen to the general chat and trade chat.
Yeah,
it's going to start scrolling nonstop.
Trade chat. They don't even use trade chat. I've even put in general. You guys realize that there's a trade chat? What?
But I mean, I can see it now. Selling 300 stacks of blue goo. Trying to, it's gonna happen. I mean, there's people selling augments and everything already in general.
It's like black market. They're gonna be selling it all on that. And I'm sorry, are you selling this because you can't sell it in the auction house? Yeah. Well, maybe you should buy an account.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't buy anything unless it's off the GTN.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, rarely do I see. Occasionally, I've seen people advertise something. Oh, that looks good. I said, how much you selling it for? This is rarely do I, and it's usually like maybe a armor piece or something that I haven't seen in the GTN. But other than that, yeah, you're right. I don't buy the stacks of stuff. I just go to the GTN for that, or Suizo goes and picks it up.
But you and I had been talking about free to play, and I called you at work about it.
Yeah.
And of
ruined
course,
my work day, you bastard.
Well, I heard the news when I got up that day, and I was like, there's no patch, but then they dropped the free to play bullshit, and because I was really hoping my prediction of 1 to 2 years would have been right. I didn't think the game or the developers would look at the game in the light that they ended up doing.
I still don't think it's developers, dude. It's all EA. It's all bureaucrats.
Whether it's at one tier or the other, it still has to come through the BioWare publicist.
We're not pulling in $15 million a month. We must be fail. That's the EA's theory.
Well, I mean that still only requires 1 million players, and
which they say
they still haven't said that it's below 1 million.
No,
have they?
Yeah.
I didn't get to listen to the most recent conference call.
Conference call. I got it pulled up right here.
Okay, go for it.
Well, it's not going to play because I just wrote notes.
Well,
but,
I know, but
let me switch it over here real quick. All right,
yeah.
It's under Darth Hader, Electronic Arts, Q1 FY13, Q1 fiscal year 13 earnings call. I did the same thing. We're no longer with a GTN, and kids don't listen to us anyway. Okay, so let's see. I'll just go ahead and start right here. So Electronic Arts, Q1, fiscal year 13 earnings call, 5 days ago. After the reveal of the new details about free-to-play model, the Star Wars Old Republic, EA will hold their earnings call this afternoon. Live coverage, click here, call, blah, 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 blah. We can expect that EA will announce update subscription numbers for Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. So let's get into it. They go through, now I'm going to read the live blog here, and viewers will see it here. Call status introduction. Okay, just disappointing performance. Star Wars Old Republic was offset by a powerful performance of Battlefield 3. Frank Gibro will provide an update on SWTOR later in the call. Lowered expectations in SWTOR, future outlook affected by it. Lowered expectations in SWTOR, future outlook expected by it. Affected by it, excuse me. Giving people choice alongside subscriptions should give people plenty of options and drive players to the game. Mentioned break-even point was 500,000 subscribers.
Right.
SWTOR is well above that, but under 1 million total subscribers. Offering two-tiered pricing plan in November for players who canceled their subscriptions. Feedback provided as they canceled indicated that, okay, this is where I think they're blowing smoke up people's ass. For players who canceled their subscriptions, feedback provided was that they canceled because 40% were turned off by the monthly subscription fee.
Well,
I think
the
that's
question
bullshit.
is, are they? I'm not arguing that it isn't bullshit, because MMOs predominantly still are free to play, or are still pay to play.
Right.
At least the ones that are of any quality.
Right.
And I'm not saying quality is going to drop as far as Star Wars is concerned, but the idea that people were turned off by it, people are turned off by the idea of playing multiple MMOs and paying for it. Once again, Kevin, you, me, we started playing this game. We canceled our subs to the other games. You did have that whoopsie with the one MMO where you didn't realize they were still charging you, but
Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't realize you were still paying for STO, but it's the idea that paying for multiple MMOs, I think, that becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen multiple hits to the game based on the excitement behind Diablo. They released 1.2 on top of the Mass Effect 3 launch, which isn't a sub game. It's a single player, and it's a great storyline, and it rocks out of the park. And of course, there are a lot more people, I think, playing first-person shooters. It's just kind of fucked up that they say, well, Star Wars isn't doing as good as Battlefield. Well, Battlefield's on a multitude of platforms: PC, 360, PS3. So of course it's going to do lackluster numbers. How many people actually know how to operate a keyboard and a fucking mouse?
I don't.
I mean, only the pro gamers who actually go out and play this shit, however many those are that are using PCs, know the beauty of using a PC versus using a system.
No, I can't
and
stand
there's still more people.
The hand cramping.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, and I would have been a consummate console gamer for the longest time, but then I kind of I got into MMOs. I got used to use controls in an FPS, and I can't go back to a controller.
The last console game I had was a Sega Genesis.
No, really?
Yeah, really. And I put my
Holy shit.
And I put my boot through it because I was playing.
Mine's in storage.
No, it was. I was.
No, I'm saying.
I was playing Tekken, and I got pissed off at it, and I put my foot through it, and said, "That's it. I'm not going to play." So now, a $5,000 computer, I'm a little less likely to put my foot through it. So, anyways, I'll continue. Further down the line here, and it's almost done. Questions on expectations of the future Star Wars. Frank Jabot, the idea with free-to-play is to open the funnel and get some of the players back that we lost to churn, whatever churn is. We anticipate that the mix between subscriptions and free-to-play are going to be balanced, but we don't foresee free-to-play revenues as incremental to doing anything that we discussed in the call. So they're not. So from what I'm getting from that is they're not. Okay, A, they have no big plans for the future. B, that they're not expecting it to really bring anything to the table for SWTOR. So what I'm getting out of that whole story is, well, it was a good try, guys. Let's let it just die out. And I swear to God, from a bureaucrat's financial, we've got to have billions of dollars a month perspective. That's what they'll do. They will just let it. They will just let it go.
I think
it's going to turn into
the perspective of
galaxies.
EA and BioWare. It's very well. We don't know that Sony Entertainment did that one, and I've seen Sony bomb on bigger, on much more interesting titles, in my perspective, than just that. And Sony is notorious for running shit into the ground. EA is notorious, and I know this from actually talking to one of the developers of Marvel Alliances. EA is a grindhouse. They ride their developing teams day and night to the point of complete exhaustion because they treat every minute like crunch time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally every minute of the day is crunch time for them. So they run a lot harder staffing than any other company in gaming. I mean, when I worked for GameStop, we went to company conferences. The only one I ever got to attend before I left there was in Fort Worth, and there were several different developers, LucasArts being one of them, that actually bought the bar for us.
There she is.
The Wookie. But and I was outside smoking a cigarette, and I asked the guy, I said, "Oh, hey man, who do you work for?" I was like, he goes, "Well, I just finished a game. Maybe you've heard of it. It's Marvel Alliances." And I was like, "Yeah, it was a great fucking game, dude." I said, "How was how did you enjoy that?" And he said, "It would have been fine if it wasn't like crunch time every damn day of the week." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, the game was in development for 2 years, but they treat it like we were releasing it the next fucking day, every fucking day." He said he put in between 65 and 80 hours a week designing this game.
Yeah, EA just, like you said, they're running cattle, and it's unfortunate. It's kind of a mixed thing. It's fortunate and it's unfortunate that BioWare is now owned by EA. It's right. Because if BioWare could have stood on their own, and they did for a long time, they could have sat back. One of the reasons why Blizzard was such a success with their game is because they ran the show. They're laid back. They treat their people well. I mean, and
they did that for a while, but even now,
yeah.
We being former WoW players, we even said that once they sold out to Activision, that it was pretty much over. Yep. And it has gone downhill in most of the classic players' perspective. Yep. The casuals and some of the people who still hang on to the IP won't give that up, and they still scream that, oh well, Activision didn't do anything; it's all Blizzard making decisions, and But I don't get the bathwater being thrown out, throwing the baby out with the bathwater with the idea that because it has around 1 million subscribers that's not enough. They've already, according to their earlier call. Or the first call we covered back in, I think it was March, they had already said that they covered almost all expenses on developing the game. So right now they're literally making $15 million a month and saying, yeah,
not enough,
but it's not Blizzard money.
Yeah,
they want the $150 million a month
or more.
They should have, in my eyes, they shouldn't have expected more than a 2% market share anyway.
No.
And at 2, and I guess it's closer to like a 15% market share or 10% market share. But they weren't going to pull that many players from other MMOs to play this one. Not saying that to deprecate the storyline or anything that the game offers. I've spent many episodes being a definitive blazer of defense for this company and for the game, and I'm not dropping that stance. I just don't see how they can, in a conference call, and granted they're talking to suits, they're talking to assholes who know nothing about games.
Right, that's another problem.
They're talking to guys who think that because they can buy it on their iPhone, it suddenly makes it this massively awesome game. because everyone wants to finger fuck their iPhones every day. And
Farmville.
that's what they look at. Yeah. Oh, what? There's a Farmville app. And
Angry Birds.
yeah.
It's all about Angry Birds now.
Shut up, please.
I love Angry Birds. That's what I do. That's what I play when I'm taking a shit. Passes the time.
Wow. I think I'm gonna throw in a TMI on that one. Oh wow. But no, I mean they're looking at they're comparing it to games like Battlefield, and I don't think that's an appropriate.
It's not a good. It's apples and oranges.
Appropriate look. When Battlefield 3 released and Call of Duty Modern Warfare released, and I apologize, guys, if this goes too far off the Star Wars path. But when I had the option to compare the two, I was asking people, well, what are you playing? What are you playing? Nobody would really tell me, so I went. Call of Duty's always been a popular franchise. It's always been a reliable franchise for me in gaming. So I picked up Modern Warfare 3. And I went. I played it. I play it all the time. Kevin's nephew plays it all the time. He's on his third prestige or some shit like that.
Right.
Myself, I haven't even got my first. I haven't even maxed my character out because I only jump in it once in a while to shoot some people. They're great games. First-person shooters are immensely interesting. They appeal to a fairly wide audience, not necessarily as far as the sex, but the age range. Because you get ex-military that actually play the game, you get and then of course you get the random kid who hopped on the system and started playing for shits.
Right.
But the idea that you should compare a console-based first-person shooter at any point towards an MMO is ridiculous.
It's apples and oranges.
Yeah, if they
at least had
went to if they at least brought into the idea, well, Mass Effect 3 sold this amount. And we're making this much money off of this game, and here's this other game that BioWare's working on. Not just going, well, here's what was a powerhouse, Star Wars, and what it continues to be a powerhouse, Battlefield. I would be less inclined to be pissed off at the idea.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the people, even in the forums the many different forums that we checked out, are saying stuff like, they can't, just like what you said, you can't compare
two vastly different
games. You got a first-person shooter and linear game. They've also I guess a lot of these first-person shooters now you can play with multiple players, but it's still it's still linear. There's no and then you got an MMO, story-based. We've said before, ladder-based game, story-based game. It's a completely different style of game. You can't compare the two. They've also said that, for the most part, these people don't, not BioWare in particular, but or EA in particular, they were just saying in general, these guys don't even know how to make a damn MMO. I mean, they did fine with making it. It's just that they don't understand. My biggest problem is they don't understand the gamer MMO community. They understand how much money am I bringing in. They're not. They don't understand that. I think it all bases back to their comparison. You're comparing a first-person linear game that once they're done playing it and going through they're ready to buy the next game. Whereas an MMOer is playing a game, developing a community, not only over vent or over chat, but virtually within the game, and they're playing not to get to the end of the game, shut it down, go buy the next new thing. They're playing to play the game and grow their character in the game, move on to the next expansion or the next piece of content, what you will, and they're not. So if they're not getting that. I guess a good analogy, which is probably an overused analogy, but it's prophetic considering the Olympics is going on, is the MMOs are a marathon, and linear games are a sprint. I mean, you with an MMO, you take your time, you develop your character, you go on and on and on and on. You start making money the further down the road you get than within the first couple months. Even Well, you can't really compare WoW either because WoW came out at, like we were saying before the show, came out at the perfect time. There was not a lot of them out there. The ones that were out there were kind of hokey. And WoW just filled a void. It was a new thing. But even then, they didn't really start getting a shit ton of subscribers until several years down the road, where the word of mouth got out. And then it seemed like, well, geez, seems like everybody's playing this game. Let's go see what it's about. You can't start a game and have that worldwide success in the first 8 months it's been in existence. It's just not going to happen. And if you expect it to happen, then you end up going you end up going to free to play, and the owners of the game saying, just let it die. Now, we could surprise them and actually keep it going, even though they're doing this tier system. You know, if they do it right, if they do the tier system right, you'll end up getting free to players going, man, this kind of sucks. I'm spending a fortune on dress up for my character, but I'm not being able to do any of the content. So they will buy the subscription, and hopefully, if whoever's whoever SWTOR's whoever takes SWTOR as their baby. You know, fuck what the goddamn suits say. I'm going to work on this game. I'm going to do what I can within my tight confines to make the game for the gamer, and they can actually grow the game even though they have all these stupid restrictions. You know, I would love to just take and stick a two-finger salute up to EA and say, guess what, motherfucker? We made the game. You didn't. But, you know, it's all going to have to be... It's a fine line. Now I love this game. You know I love this game, and I haven't felt this much excitement for a game and this much draw to the game since I started playing WoW back in whenever it was, just shortly before BC came out. So I mean, and I've played other MMOs. I've done Rift. I've done Eve. I've done Star Trek. I've done World of Tanks. I've done, you know, I've played other games, and I get that that hey, this looks good. You know, but it has to build on me a little bit, but it's kind of slow. Where this game was, I mean, the first time I made the character, the first stupid little cutscene that we went through, I was like, wow, this is different. This is weird. And then I'm like, what is this little circle thing? As soon as I found out, holy shit, I can actually control the conversation.
Yeah,
I'm in. You know, this was awesome. You know, and I've never been a big Star Wars fan. I mean, I've always enjoyed the movies, but never was into the lore as much as I was into Star Trek. But you know, this game, if anything, has gotten me even into the lore a little bit, and I really do enjoy the game. I hate the fact that I don't hate the fact so much that it's going free to. Okay, well, I do hate that, but I don't hate that as much as I hate the fact that the reasoning behind it is so bogus. Well,
at least the reason they're giving
the reason they're giving us, it truly isn't. I really don't think that it's the developers, the lovers of the game, the people that wanted to make this game really good and knew the gamer, that wanted to make the game for the gamer. It's not their fault. It's their GD boss's fault. It's the suits that have probably never picked up a frickin' Nintendo Game Boy or anything and don't have a clue how, well, they might do that. They might have a clue how linear games work, but they have no clue how an MMO society works. I really, truly, honestly believe that they just don't understand the social aspect. And I've ran into first-person shooter players. I've ran into people that do the games like Mario and stuff like that. They're gamers. Yeah, they're gamers. They're a different style of gamer. But they don't understand the social aspect. They don't understand the MMO gamer. They really don't. Which is really cool. I feel, like part of my family.
There are signs of EA when they've gotten their feet wet in the games. and tried MMOs, and maybe you'll remember some of these games. Ultima Online was their
Ultima
last
Online.
big hit
Mm-hmm.
in 1997.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake,
It's still going. It's free to play,
yeah,
but it didn't go free to play for quite a while.
right, and it still costs in some cases just to get the game. It's still
Yeah.
itself, so you're paying $13 for the box set.
But that's it.
So here's one that I haven't heard yet, and I don't think they've even alluded to. I guarantee you, between launch and now, they've made all their money back.
Oh yeah.
They've made all their money, and they're like, you know what? Now it's pure profit. We only need so many people so that we can continue to keep about 80% of whatever we make each month,
Right.
which sounds about right for a general developer. I'm sure Blizzard's, swimming and burning money while they're lighting cigars off of the, 150 million they still pull in a month.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't buy that extra shuttle that was floating around.
Yeah.
Put out in front of their building.
There's an orc.
I know. I saw that. That's so cool.
There's an orc super glued to the top of the.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the statue out in front
Mars
of the Blizzard.
rover. No, they've got that too, and that's ridiculous.
So freaking awesome.
I was expecting it to be followed by a tank. The tank from was it
the mech tank?
Yeah, fuck. No, the gold tank that fucking one rapper used to drive. Used to have in his videos.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't. Master P. That's what it was. Make you say, "Ugh," which is exactly what EA makes me want to do. And the only other thing they do online really is what they call is a game called Need for Speed World, and that's where EA gets all their currencies
They're a sports. EA is a sports.
They've really
That's
always
all
been
they
a
are.
sports. Now, as far as
and you just hung up on me again, you dork.
are we back on the?
We are back.
Okay. So yeah, love the glitches. For some other reason, our sponsor Uvu shut off on us. As the Wookie moves in the background again, son of a bitch. And as far as BioWare goes, they've got a couple listings. One was Ultima Forever, which apparently is a re-release sometime in 2012 that they were working on, and then the Warhammer Online, which from what I heard, Warhammer. But it did crash and burn.
Yeah, but the Warhammer's big success is still tabletop.
Right. And they did work. It's one of those things where they've released several different versions of the Warhammer game.
Yeah. Orcs in space, you can't go wrong with that, dude.
I tried playing it. It wasn't.
I wasn't really into it either, but my sister still plays it. She I think she still runs a weekend Warhammer thing at her little outdoor sports shop, which is kind of cool.
But I mean, it's not like EA has the amazing track record on releasing MMOs. I mean, I tried to pull up a direct list, but unfortunately, there's no actual list. But I don't buy into the bullshit that they're trying to sell. And as far as how I feel personally about FTP, I think yes, it will bring more people into the game. It will give people the option to purchase the game so that they can get into the full content, that being operations. They get to run whatever they want, whenever they want. But I see the opportunity for the reduced limitations to be identical to that of the legacy system. I see the legacy perks ending up being something you can buy through game credits. I think they'll do something retarded with it, like $10 for unlocking something that would have been 1 million credits
or less.
Yeah,
I agree. I think they'll probably end up doing that because they're.
I hate to say it more. I want to argue money hungry.
I was gonna say greedy. Yeah.
Yeah. But I see that being the deal. I see that people who want the legacy options but play free to play are going to end up getting it in the back door. And I want to thank you guys for taking one for the team, helping me pay for something.
Well, I wouldn't even be
paying for anyway.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they just stop where they're at with legacy, and then from here on out, if you want legacy, no matter subscription or not, you're going to have to pay for it.
I really hope they don't do that. That would really be the last straw.
It wouldn't surprise me. What's gonna piss me off is if I can't get my Cathar.
Yeah. Well, and it depends. I mean, they were talking about releasing that patch around the same time. They're now talking about going free to play.
Yep.
You could see Cathar becoming a race that you buy.
Yip.
Through your cartel points.
Using your cartel points.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what really worries me is I want to see new content, but I don't want it to come at the loss of $15 plus.
Yeah.
$15 a month is what I like. I don't mind paying for an MMO, because I normally run between 2 and 3 accounts with my wife and my nephew included, and I would hate to see them totally fuck the game by doing that. I mean, I have fun with what we have now.
Yeah.
I would like to see a little bit more content and some of the ideas that we've brought up previously. I'd like to see the game grow, and I don't. Knowing how long I played WoW, knowing it came out in 2004, knowing that I played it for the majority of the time it was out. I started in BC, so about 2 years late.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
And I played it until just recently. I think I quit about almost a year and a half ago now. So
yeah, it's been about the same time. Yeah.
And now they've got the Mist of Pandaria coming out, which Kevin's very excited about. Myself, I didn't see anything in the content they were dropping in that to make me worthwhile to go to. Everyone's saying Guild Wars, Guild Wars, Guild Wars. My nephew plays it. I haven't seen anything that interests me.
I didn't like the first one, so.
So, will I stop playing when it goes free to play? Probably not. Will I stop playing if they do something ridiculous?
Free, like pay to win?
Well, not pay to win.
You keep playing it pay to win?
Take away. I would hope that they don't do something retarded like that. My biggest concern is things that give the subscriber and the loyal fan a finger.
Yeah.
Those being those of us who have Legacy unlocked and have had it unlocked for quite a few months, turning Legacy rewards into something you buy at the cartel, turning things like I don't know, like we got the big finger when I got the deluxe edition. Or when I upgraded to, you got to go to the VIP.
Yeah, the empty
thought
VIP
the VIP
room.
lounge was going to be something good. You thought maybe there was going to be some classic characters up there, or why not a George Lucas avatar up there for fucking
just something,
sake. Anything better than a smaller version of what's already downstairs, where everyone was running around, and I haven't seen that. And then you go and pay 1 million credits. Well, now, for the small price of $10, you can get a VIP lounge ticket and go up there whenever you want. Things like that, I think, would piss me off.
Spoiler, don't blow your money on that.
Yeah. There's nothing upstairs that you want or needed to see.
No,
unless you just wanted to have a spot where you could RP some shit up.
Right, or the other good thing was that you could go up there and jump off when you had Raccool. That was helpful.
Well, I mean, I do that all the time just
for giggles.
Yeah.
It's always fun to stand there by the bank and see people drop.
Yeah, and I always make fun of people too. Like, you can't find me, haha, and they'll be like, "Oh, invite me to a group," and I'll invite them to a group, and they can't find me because I'm on the second tier of the fleet.
Yeah, they have no idea where that's at. Yeah. What I like is when you walk along the ledge.
Yeah.
On the inside, I've tried jumping on those little spinny things. And you have to get right at a little tiny, and you fall. You just kind of step off the little lip and fall. And I fell through all 3 of them. They fell through them. You can't. I was like, oh, that's bullshit,
They're
man.
not solid.
I want to land on it. It's a third.
But I mean, as far as the long and the short of it, I'm not upset about it. I see more people getting into the game, which I think for our show makes sense. I do because I know plenty of people, at least there's people I talk to at work, where there's one guy who's waiting on Dark Skies or Dark Fall or something like that. There's some RPG that they're revamping and releasing a new Nightmare mode on or some shit. And I asked him why he didn't play Star Wars, and really, his excuse was he couldn't get into ops, and he really couldn't afford it.
He's not going to get into ops if he does free to play either. So here's my theory, dude. Okay, yeah. This is what's gonna happen. Oh,
tell me about your food stamps.
November 1st, we're gonna have free to play they're gonna have this huge. Oh, everybody's coming in, and it's gonna drop off again. And the reason why is because all the people that used to play before already know about the game. They don't play now because they didn't like the game when they played. They're not coming back. When free-to-play shows up, the free-to-players will show up, and either one of the, and they're going to have two different type of people. You're going to have the people that, hey, this is a great game, and they're going to want to play. They're going to find out they can't do ops and all this other stuff, so they may or may not go into a subscription. I say, just off the top of my head, 50% will buy the subscription, 50% will just stop playing. The other 50% that started playing, they're going to say, this game's not for me, and they're going to leave. So we're going to have a massive influx, and then they're going to all fall out, and we're going to be pretty much right back. I bet they gain 10% more than what we have now. And that'll be offset by the people that leave because it's gone free to play.
Well, I see closer to a 20% increase.
It's still not going to be. It's still not going to be anything that's going to be worth a shit, dude. It's not going to. It's not going to be worth
a shit to EA.
No,
is more likely the case. To us as a group, I think it will be somewhat more worthwhile. People who are already playing an MMO and are paying a subscription base. I mean, there's a couple guys that some of the drivers that come up to my work who play WoW. And they're seeing their guild members who aren't showing up as often, and that's the whole reason they were playing, and they don't see them that often. And then I said, well, why don't you try checking out Star Wars? Well, I don't want to put $60 into another game, So to get into the free to play version at $15 and have a month to check the game out.
Well, here's a question for you. Right now, they have free to play up to level 15.
Right.
You can download it for free and play up to 15. For free. 1 through 15, you have the exact same limitations that you will have in the free-to-play up to 50, right? How many more people have joined just to check it out?
Just
for the 1 to 15.
Through 1 to 15, I almost always see people when I'm restarting a character or when I'm starting a fresh character. Those zones are still running 80 to 90 people per planet every time I start a character. And that's as of late. And you'll talk.
You know what? Come to think of it,
I try to trade people.
You're right. You come to think of it, I have to agree with you on that. Then just glad you reminded me of that, because the other day, I've been running on Suiza, and she's been 30-ish for quite a while now, 30 plus. She's 42 now, but she's been, and I've noticed that the planets were pretty empty actually, almost close to Port Nowhere styles. Yeah. I mean, 20 people on the planet, that type of thing. And I had to finish up my story, chapter 2. I had to go back to Coruscant, and I had to fly all the way into Coruscant. And the first thing I noticed was that there was 185 people on Coruscant. So and Coruscant is at the end cap for 15. So you might be right.
These are people that are interested in the game, but they really just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, that's possible.
And
I would like to see EA stats on it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have they really gotten any new subscribers?
I was on. I want to say I was either on Naga or one of my other characters. No, I was on Gazini, and I went back to. I was going around collecting holocrons and trying to find shit that I'd missed throughout the game. And I found a really cool blue drop, and I tried to give it to a Sork that was running around, and I couldn't trade him. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I did it again, and it said he was on a trial account, cannot trade to trial members. And I went, "Son of a bitch!" And there was 150 people on Korriban.
You can't have this. You can't have this.
Right, and then we go. Then if you go to Drum and Koss, it's the same thing, just like Coruscant, where there's a ton of fucking people, and chat's just going nonstop.
Yeah, maybe it is. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Well, that would also explain why we went into that PvP match and we saw all those people without
level 10s, level 5s,
without the you were saying, what is it with all these people without legacy names?
Right.
Remember that? So maybe that's it. And I've also seen a lot of people without guilds. Free to players can't get the guilds.
Right.
Well, new free to players might be, but the trial people can't get a guild. So you may be right, but I would still like to see the stats on that, because if you're right, then that's great. There's more people playing. Fine, whatever. But as long as the free to players are getting screwed for playing free to play, I don't mind. Because I'm paying to play the game, the content. I'm paying to play the game, the full content. I'm paying to pay for updates. I'm paying to pay for bug fixes. I'm paying to play for patches and new release stuff. I'm not doing free to play. If I wanted to play free to play game, I'd go back to World of Tanks, which I loved that game. But
yeah, I mean, but the thing is, when you look at the fleet, we still see anywhere between 3 and 4 instances of the fleet during peak times. We still see 2 to 3 in the middle of the fucking night. So it's obvious that people at level 50 are still there.
Oh, yeah.
And then the people that are below that level, in the first 2 starting planets on any side, any class, they all end up being that way. So,
real quick, I want to throw a few more things in here. We're almost out of time.
I know.
I want to throw a couple more things in here. One, I got a hold of Dino, and Diggy, and Never Die, and all the complication buddies, and I was giving them crap for not inviting us to their ops because they're always in ops, and they're like, "Dude, you haven't been on. We haven't seen you in forever," and it didn't dawn on me. We've been playing our fucking troopers forever.
Yes.
So I said, "Well, okay, but our vent information." So, got her back. So she's like, just jump in, say hi, come in, we don't hate you, we just haven't seen you in forever. So, okay, so that's the kind of a personal back and forth. The other thing I wanted to mention, God, now I can't remember what it was.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Shoot, it was something I wanted to, I'll probably remember.
Should have wrote it on a piece of paper.
Maybe I should have did that. Fuck. It was something I wanted. Okay. This is for our listeners and our viewers. On Saturdays, I got maybe Sundays. I'll have it down by next week. But I want to start doing. This isn't going to have to be. You have to be in our guild or anything. But what I want to do is start doing Datacron runs. For all your low levels that you haven't gotten any of your Datacrons for, or maybe you have some older, some higher level that you just haven't gone to specific planets and did any Datacrons. Next week, I'm gonna have it set up, and I'll give you a time, and it might be posted earlier on our Facebook page. I want to set up a time for we can get together, get the group, and of course now, granted, you'll have to be on Prophecy of the 5, so I guess it is limiting to the Prophecy of the 5 people, but. I want to do Datacron runs. Start out low-level planets and just go have fun doing Datacron runs and maybe even kill a couple of world bosses on the way. So I wanted to let you know, check the Facebook page out. I'm going to probably have that posted about midweek when I figure out a general good time for either for a Sunday or a Saturday and to do that. And then I'm going to do it every week. So or at least until I'm bored with it or nobody shows up. So... if you're on Prophecy of the 5 and what I'll do is I'll alternate it back and forth between pub side and the Empire side so we can get both sides done since I play both. Just look for our Facebook page and look for a post on there and see when it is. It's going to be about midweek. So that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean... like I said, as far as that goes, I'm not worried about free to play. I'm interested to see what happens, and I think it will open in a way of speaking the floodgates for all the people who've been stuck on the starter planets, and maybe we'll see the populations on regular planets go up again. But
yeah, I'm still concerned about it. I'm still concerned about it. I'm still gonna pay. I'm still gonna play until these other things don't work out, then.
And I still think my original argument stands that though we have some information, they haven't gotten into the nitty gritties, the nitty gritties of it, of the release. So when they do put out the final words, when they do put out exactly what's going to be on the cartel market in November, then we'll know. Yeah. And until then, we'll expect to hear leaks.
Right.
There was and that's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, we should hope and expect that BioWare and/or EA will hold up their end of the bargain for those of us who are currently playing and try to get us some quality content prior to the release of free-to-play, and that thereby rewarding us for being loyal. If they don't reward the fans, they will see the middle finger that anyone who gets pissed off for not being treated like a loyal fan will give them. And it's happened. It's happened to every MMO I played or checked out.
Yeah.
And in all earnest, like I've told you, I've paid for that shit before too. Um, Lanyards. There it is. Did you? Oh, Jesus Christ! The same song, you douche.
I forgot to change it before we left.
Oh, bugger off. God. But yeah, I guess we were gonna bullshit a little bit longer, but Lady doesn't want to.
Well, we can bullshit more next week. We probably won't have to do this whole free to play thing. Who knows?
Oh, thank God. Yeah.
Maybe they'll drop some other crazy thing.
Yeah. They'll drop a cathar in my pants.
Hey, that's a good title for a show. Right in that.
Yeah, well, this one's I shaved a Wookie and found his FTP. And, you know, guys, we love talking to you. We love hearing from you. Like I said, feel free to hit us up on Gmail with a quick audio clip with your thoughts. Joe, if you're listening, and you do because you post like crazy on our site, hit me up on Skype. Send me a message. Whether I'm online or offline, and just leave me a message there, text or otherwise, and maybe I'll give you a call this week on Tuesday, and we can get something rolling. But otherwise, guys, thanks again for listening. Thanks for being loyal fans of us and of Star Wars. And until next time, we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dadakar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Sith Talk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/Sith Talk. And of course, our Gmail is sithtalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.
There we go.
All right, so I can fix that beginning. It was only a few.
I still can't believe you fucking missed it.